Hi, I'm Lyndsie. My pronouns are she, her, and today I'm going to walk you through a foot self-massage and kind of foot reset. If your feet have been bothering you at all lately, feeling achy, feeling tired, this could be a good place to start. And if they haven't, you should probably still try it anyway, because honestly, most people's feet could use a little love. So the things that you're going to need today are a 2.5 to 3 inch ball of some kind. If you have like a tennis ball at home, wonderful. Some people use that. It's not quite as firm as some of the other options, but a racket ball can be really good too. There's these classic pinky balls rolling around in the world that are a little small too, slightly smaller than a racket ball, but they work pretty great and are a little more dense. My go-to is this dense pink rubber ball from OPTP. You can also use like a racket ball, but that's really firm, so please be gentle with yourself if you do. And then some days when I need a really deep, intense massage, I jump to a cork ball, which is really solid. So there's a wide range here of smooth spheres that you can use for helping release your feet. Also, a thing that'll be handy to have is a chair. For the first portion of this, we're gonna just have it nearby as a in case I feel wiggly while I'm standing up, rolling my feet out. But then we're gonna sit down and get real comfortable with our feet and get a little hands-on and see what we can do to help them feel better. So I'm gonna set the extra ones off to the side. And then I'm going to turn this chair just so the back is towards me. It then becomes like sort of a handle moment. If as I'm setting the ball down or moving around at all, if I feel uneasy or uneven, I can just set a hand down and keep myself from falling over. So go ahead and set that ball down on the ground. And then you're just gonna pick a foot. It really doesn't matter which one it is because we're gonna do both. You're gonna pick a foot and you're gonna get the ball of your foot right down, I'm gonna rotate a little more, right down on whatever sphere you chose, okay? Also, I'm gonna say the word ball a lot. Prepare yourself, you're welcome to giggle. So we're gonna put that ball right underneath the ball of your foot, which is the joint section right past your toes. The heel is gonna stay down on the floor, and your other foot's just gonna hang out and be nice and flat for now. We're gonna push down on the ball of that foot, trying to find as much pressure as we can handle or that feels good to us here. Don't get me wrong, it might feel kind of good/icky. Most self-massage, self-stretching has this moment to it. Very normal. You do what you are capable of today, okay? So here, we're thinking pressure down, feet wide left and right. The ideal human foot is actually a lot wider than we visually idealize. We think, oh, these beautiful slender feet. Nah, man, you need wide feet to help you walk through the world. So we're just trying to create some width between our feet bones right now. So we're just finding as much pressure as we can handle. If you feel like you want even more, you can float your other foot up, hand on the back of the chair as a safety net. And that can give you a little more pressure because it lets you lean into the foot that's on the ball. Not required though, you're welcome to keep both feet on the ground. 3 more big full breaths here. Then you're gonna pick that foot up and move the ball back a bit. It's gonna go sort of right in front of your heel, the very back end of your arch. And here, you're gonna put pressure as well. Toes and ball of the foot that were just stretched out get to stay down. And we're just, again, applying as much pressure as reasonable for us. This is a location that very often plantar fasciitis makes kind of tender if that's something that you deal with. But it's still okay to give yourself a little bit of pressure here, but only do what you feel you got in you today. And we're just breathing again. And then you're gonna lift that foot up, let the ball go all the way under your heel now, and find some pressure here, which might not feel like much of anything, but it is a good, stable reset point for that foot as we get through this massage. Couple more big breaths. Go ahead and step that foot off. Now, I'm going to turn again just so that the little low camera can see me better. We're going to tilt our foot, put the ball back underneath the ball of your foot, and tilt your foot in, sort of. So let's look at that angle. There we go. And we're going to roll up and down the inner part of that arch. And this here, again, is whatever pressure you've got in you today or feels like it's going to help you out. But you kind of want to dig in where you can. Find those kind of ouchy moments, and if you find one that's particularly hang out there. Find it, breathe, and push. We're just trying to break up some of this tension that has built up in your feet. I'm sure it has. Side note, if any of this is like a lot for you while you're standing, you're welcome to do it seated as well. You're just not going to gain as much of your physical body pressure down on that ball. Totally reasonable though. I used to sit when I was still at a desk job at my desk, and I had a ball underneath, and I would like roll my feet while I was working on things on the computer. You can do that too. I'm gonna keep rolling up and down that arch, still tilted in at the moment. Trying to not grip down with my toes. It's a really inherent natural thing to have happen, but we wanna just try to relax those muscles as much as possible and not let them get really grippy. We're then going to go up and down the center of the foot. So you're going to kind of flatten your foot out a little bit more and try to find the middle of your arch from the ball of the foot all the way to the heel. Give me that rolling back and forth. And again, if you find particularly tight feeling spots, dig into them a little. Ooh. And then keep your roll. Always go back to that rolling sensation to kind of smooth and soothe anything that you sat and did some more trigger point on. And then we're gonna go to the outer edge of the foot. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, this is where the mass majority of people lose the ball. It's okay, if it runs away from you, you're at home. Go grab it and start again. This is not a long series that you have to do. You are by all means welcome to double, even triple the time that you do each section of this if it feels good to you and helps your feet feel more open and happy. All right, one more round on the outer edge. It keeps wanting to roll to my inner arch though. And then we're gonna end by putting it back under the ball of the foot, dropping the heel down towards the floor, finding as much pressure as we've got in it. And then I'm gonna move that chair a little forward. We're gonna take the free foot and step it forward and put a little bend in that knee. The back heel still stays down though. We're finding an arch, a stretch in the calf and up the back of your ankle, getting that Achilles. And then step out of it. This motion is just gonna be a little step in to increase pressure and find some length in the back leg. And then stepping back out. That's it for now. It's that little in and out. And out. Oof. That little step forward, man. Huh. One more. Hang out here for a moment and breathe. That thing that we forget to do sometimes. Go ahead and step back. Now, just keeping those feet nice and parallel so that the free foot, the one that doesn't have the ball underneath it, can just support you here. You're gonna rock your foot from side to side on top of that ball while it's still under the ball of your foot. And we're trying really hard to not dramatically grip the toes here. Heel stays down. It's probably your pivot point even. And you're just gonna rock back and forth. Oh yeah. Okay. You're then gonna come back to center. Pick that foot up. Set the ball off to the side for a moment. We're now going to do a little bit of stretching before we take a walk around. So here, the foot that you were just working, I want you to press the big toe joint down into the floor as much as you can, finding a little shift forward of that knee. And intensity-wise, it should be whatever your arch can handle at the moment. But most of the pressure is in that big toe joint side. And just for reference here, we don't want ankle falling out to the side or crashing into the center, just right up and down that big toe joint. Now, we're gonna pick that foot up and flip it over. Try to tuck the toes back, or tops of the toes down on the floor, and find a stretch in the front of that ankle. Whew. Now, placement here, it can be right underneath your hip. It can go back. It can also drag forward. Everybody's position is gonna be a little bit different, so I want you to try moving your foot around a few times to see what feels appropriate for you. 2 more big, full breaths. And then put that foot back upright. Just take a little walk around for a moment. I want you to notice how your foot feels. Feels lighter probably, a little flatter, a little more connected to the ground. All right, let's do the other side. So you're gonna start out the same way. We're gonna take that ball and put it underneath the ball of your other foot, trying to not grip with your toes, just finding the volume of pressure that you've got in you today. You know, it's funny because I'm standing here while we're releasing our feet. In my mind, I'm like, how do I multitask this? How do I do something else? And then I stopped myself and I was like, Lyndsie, no, you're releasing your feet. You don't need to add anything to this. This is what you're doing right now. So if your brain has a tendency to do that too, take a deep breath. Take a moment to just stop and go, no, what I'm doing is taking care of my feet. I know that we can all get like that sometimes. 2 more big breaths. All right, now we're gonna pick that foot up and go to the back end of the arch. I'll show the low camera that again. And we're gonna find as much pressure as we can handle down into that ball, right at that arch zone. Big, full breaths. Sending energy, love down towards those feet, letting them know they can relax. They carry you everywhere, right? Give them a break. All right, we're then gonna pick that foot up and move all the way back under the heel to find some pressure here. If you like extra pressure in the heel, you can lift your other foot up. And I'm gonna set that foot down and I'm gonna release. Now we're gonna go back to that inner part of your arch rolling. So we're gonna find nice tilt in of the foot and a little dig down, trying to not let those toes grip like they want to. And we get in there. Again, if you find a spot that's like, ooh, stop there. I'm sorry, I love you, I promise. Stop and just like push a little. And try to breathe into it and make it a Zen moment, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a very Zen human, so I don't know how any of that works. Whew. And then once you're done with that really dense pressure there, roll again. And we're still tilted in toward the inner edge of that arch. Going all the way from the ball of the foot, all the way to right in front of the heel. And now we're gonna go up and down the center of the foot, trying to flatten that foot out a little bit and going right up and down the middle. Ooh, I found it, y'all. I found the mad spot. Oh, yeah. This is not normally my foot that bothers me. I had a good stint of plantar fasciitis symptoms, back in probably the end of 2019, early 2020. And I rolled my feet so dang much. Roll and rest were really the only things that helped me get out of that, which is unfortunate. 'Cause man, is that waking up first thing in the morning and having painful feet, just a giant pain in the ass. All right, and then go to the outer edge of your foot, trying to create a little pressure down that pinky toe side of the foot. Only as much pressure as you can handle. If that ball escapes, don't worry about it. Go grab it. You're fine. This is usually where it happens. Oh, mine just tried to. All right. And now you're going to bring yourself back to the ball of the foot being down on said ball. Heel down resting on the floor. And we're going to step forward with the free foot. And then step back. Step forward. Ooh, yeah. Keep that back heel down. We're finding a little moment of stretch through the Achilles and possibly the calf. Whew. Just in and out of it. Only lingering as long as you can in that more intense moment. One more time. And then step it back. Get those feet just kind of lined up with each other. You're then going to wiggle your toes for a moment, because I know they want to. You're going to push down enough that you get that wide sensation in your foot again, that it's getting wide. I was joking calling it Flintstone feet the other day. Those are like good feet for existing in the world. Nice, wide, flat. Rock that foot back and forth. I shouldn't say flat, because having a natural lift to your arch is the healthiest way to have our feet. It's not, normal on most people, but having a nice lifted arch with broad, wide ball of the foot and toes, chef's kiss. Those are good feet, friends. They're going to let you go through all kinds of things in life, but who has those feet? Not a lot of people. Just that rock back and forth. While this is good for your foot and your toes, it's also really good for your ankle. Ankles are our little gyroscopes that keep us vertical to the world. And we gotta be nice to them and their friend, the foot. Okay, you're gonna step off of that ball, set it off to the side, and then you're going to give me a deep flex in that foot. Tucking the toes forward and trying to not let your ankle fall out to the side or collapse into the center. Just that big toe joint. Feel that stretch up the arch. Again, how much you press into this is just up to what your feet can handle that day, what you're into. Be realistic. Some days I can go hard on my feet and really get into them, really break up any of the tension. And some days it's just the most gentle versions of everything. So be realistic with yourself. Couple more breaths in this nice long stretch. We're then going to pick the foot up and flip it over. So the toes are tucked the other way. And I want to note the ankle here again. We're not falling out. We're not collapsing in. That big toe joint is now pressing down into the floor just from the top instead of the bottom. And again, your placement is up to you. Forward or back, behind you, whatever angle feels appropriate for you. And again, as much pressure as you can handle. If all you can do is lift your foot up and point your toes and tap them down, that's it. Hang out there. Ooh, I heard a pop. Yeah, that means I probably needed that. 2 more big breaths. On your exhale, you're gonna lift that foot up, wiggle your toes, and give me a little walk around with this too. Just sort of feeling how you're connected to the floor now. Now, we're not done. There's more we get to do. But we are done with this ball. So you can set it off to the side, just get it out of the way. And then bring yourself to a seated position on your chair that you brought. Now here, you need to have the mobility to get a foot up on your knee, and I know that that's not ideal for everybody. So one of the ways I like to get into it is sliding the leg that's going to stay down out a little bit so that that thigh lowers, and then using a hand or even a stretching strap to pull yourself up. You then can slide the other foot in and hopefully feel a little more supported here. First of all, if your hips are tight, this might be a lot, okay? So take a moment, breathe in it. If you need to, you can even lean back here and rest against the back of your chair. It's a good place to hang out. Now, this first bit is kind of silly because you're gonna stick your fingers between your toes. Now, in an ideal world, we'd be able to get like all the way up knuckle to knuckle and like really spread our toes out, but the world is not ideal. So even if it's the tips of your fingers between your toes, creating some separation, wiggle them in there. And if one pair of toes isn't about it today, skip it. You'll be okay. Just give yourself a little stretching moment if you can. But otherwise, we're gonna like, grip up and spread those toes as much as we can. Our feet and our feet bones are like fan shaped. They all come to a cluster back at the ankle. And here we're just trying to spread the end of that fan so that we can then hopefully spread deeper down in the foot as well. While we're here, you can be sitting up tall or leaning back. Either is fine. You might need to lift the heel on the other foot if you do. And we're just gonna roll that ankle around. Your fingers are between your toes, your hands all up in your foot, and you're just gonna roll it around. You can use that hand that's between the toes as leverage and literally crank the ankle around. Whew. And then you're gonna pause and reverse the circle. If I made you pause too long and you forgot what direction you're going, you're not alone. I forget what direction I'm going most of the time whenever I stop. This direction is a little chunky and shaky. Interesting. Three, two, one. Pause for a moment. We're gonna pull your foot to dorsiflexion, which is the top of the foot pulling back towards your shin. And then we're gonna point the foot, reaching it away. We have our fingers between those toes still. Dorsiflexion, pulling the top of the foot towards the shin, and then plantar flexion is pointing away and reaching into the toes. And back. One more time, point, point, point. Find that reach. And then slowly slide your fingers out from between your toes and wiggle them around. Give them a really good wiggle. Now, we're gonna get even more familiar with our feet. I like scooting my foot further out here so that like the foot itself is supported by my leg. And then you're gonna grab your big toe and your second toe. And then you're gonna slide your fingers down until you're on the ball of the foot. You're then gonna, what's the best way to describe this? Imagine a Kit Kat. You know that those candy bars that you have to break apart before you eat them? Well, you don't have to, but they want you to. You're gonna try to imagine like your toe bones are a Kit Kat, and you're just gonna try to like break them apart, spread them. You're gonna do that here. I'm gonna tell you right now too, if this angle of trajectory is too much for your knee, you can put a pillow down here and do the same thing, okay? Like a little footstool, whatever you need to rest that foot. Bringing that knee up is a lot. You're just gonna walk your way down the foot. So you're trying to get those toe bones to separate a little bit, as deep in the foot as you can. It might not feel a lot. It might just feel like your fingers poking in and out, and that's okay too, because you are still moving the fascia between the bones. I'm just walking my way back up, breaking up those Kit Kats. And then I get to the tippy top back to my toes, and now I'm gonna go second toe, middle toe. Same thing here. Find the toes and walk your hands down. and open and close those doors. Oh yeah. Again, the pressure is what you've got in you today, but you're gonna walk yourself back up, up, up. And then switch to the middle toe and second to last toe. Walking down and breaking up those Kit Kats. We don't think about our feet as like this thing that can be kind of concave shaped, but it totally can. The way our bones are and the way the tissue is, it is like a little cupped shape. So as you push in, you'll notice that there's a lot more movement up than there is down. All right, last set. We got second toe, pinky toe, and we're gonna try, ooh, pinky toe is always a weird one. Pinky toes just like to rebel. So mine is like, no thank you, the whole time I'm doing this. And they don't go quite as deep into the foot, and that's okay. And you're gonna walk yourself back up. All right, now you're gonna stop here. You're gonna wiggle your toes again, as much as you can wiggle them, as big as you can. Spread them out wide and let them relax. 2 more times. Spread and relax. Last time. Spread, 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 and relax. 1 more time. You're gonna sneak your fingers between your toes. And notice if you can get your fingers in deeper this time. I can. After I do that little Kit Kat breakup, I can get all the way up to my knuckles, which is not where I was before. And just give me a couple of breaths here. Relaxed ankle, nothing special happening with the foot otherwise. We're just spreading those toes out as much as we can. And then you're gonna slide those fingers out and set that foot down to prep to do the other side. We're gonna bring the other foot in. And here we're gonna start by trying to thread our fingers between the toes. Oh, this side is way tighter, y'all. Whew. Okay, so this is gonna be an adventure on this side. Here I'm getting to, man, my first knuckle joint. And that's okay. I'm just gonna hang out here and let it breathe for a moment. Trying to just adjust to that pressure and the change in the angle of my toe trajectory. And then I'm gonna create some circles. Using those toes and my hand that's intertwined with them as the handle to roll that foot around. Man, these toes are so tight that it's like kind of hurting my fingers while I pinch them. It's releasing slowly, but whew, it's snug. What did I do to this right foot? And then I want you to reverse those circles. Oh yeah, make this about moving it with your hand, not the foot or ankle muscles. It is about your hand manipulating relaxed tissue and relaxed joints. Two. And 1. Okay, come back to center. Oh, I tried to move my fingers up, not happening yet. We're gonna come to dorsiflexion, top of the foot pulling back, and then point to reach it away. Dorsiflexion to pull in, point to reach it away for plantar flexion. In, they're both flexing. Isn't that annoying that pointing or bringing your foot in is they're both a kind of flexion. Last time, end in that deep dorsiflexion and let go to relax the ankle. You're gonna slide your fingers out and wiggle your toes a few times. And now we're gonna kind of get into that Kit Kat break up. So I want you to let the bottom of your foot face towards you. You're gonna slide from your big toe and second toe down. And you're gonna break those bones up, walking your way down. Oh yeah, like getting my thumbs in there, I can feel how much more tension this foot has. Which is interesting because my left side is usually my tight side and this is my right foot. Bodies are wild. Pushing, spreading, trying to break that Kit Kat up. right, I'm back at the top. So I'm gonna switch to my second toe and my middle toe. I'm gonna slide down the toes themselves, find the bones in the foot, and go both directions. Trying to just break up the material, the fascia, all those muscles that are nice and tight in the feet. Side note, this is a delightful thing to have somebody else in your life, if you have somebody that's willing to touch your feet, do for you. Totally show them this video. Teach them how to find the toe bones that go all the way up into your foot and break them up for you. I still suggest doing the ball stuff yourself though, because I don't know, there's just something about that full pressure that hands can't get in to dig into your feet. We're switching to middle toe, second to last toe. We grab the toes themselves, we walk down, and then find that Kit Kat motion where you're opening and closing the pair of bones and walking your way down in that foot. Now this is totally making my hands tired, which tells me, Lyndsie, you need to do a hand release next. That's not gonna be built into this video, but man, I will put one of those together for y'all soon. We're back at the top, and now we're gonna get into the second toe, pinky toe movement. So we find our way down, and remember that pinky toes are kind of wonky usually, and they don't go down as low into the foot, nor do they go out to the outer edge of the flesh usually. So find your way down and then work your way back up. Once you get back to the top, I want you to wiggle your toes around. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then pause for a moment and spread your toes out as wide as you can spread them. And then release. 2 more times. Spread those toes out, 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 out. And release. Last one. Spread the toes and release. Now, one more time. Stick your fingers between your toes. Oh, I'm much higher now. Don't get me wrong, my foot is still snug and I cannot get all the way up to my knuckle joint, but I've made some progress in spreading those bones out and relieving some of that tight tissue. 2 more breaths. Go ahead and slide those fingers out. Set that foot down. We're gonna go back to the other foot for a moment. We're just at the finishing touches of this foot release session. You're gonna bring your other foot up, keep the ankle relaxed, and you're gonna grab your big toe and pull it and flick off. So you're gonna pull it and squeeze until you pull the hand off, off, off. Again, if this is a thing that's not good for your hands, if your hands aren't up for this, you can totally ask somebody in your life to do this for you. They've got to be very comfortable with your feet though, obviously. But it is worth it. Ask, get some help. One more time. Now we're gonna do that with the next toe. So this one, because you can't really get around it so much, they're little, your other toes are small. You're gonna pinch with your finger, your thumb and your pointer finger, and you're going to flick off the end. So it's a little pull and a pull. 2 more times. And then we're going to the middle toe. Same thing here. All these littler toes, they're harder to grip fully around. So just give yourself that pinching sensation and pulling off. And then we're gonna go to the second to last toe. Mine is very crooked. So when I pull it, I try to go, okay, I'm pulling straight. I'm pulling it maybe the other direction that it's curving, getting it a little more length. 2 and 1. And now my pinky toe is comically small and curved in. But same thing to it. I'm just trying to pull it in slightly the opposite direction that it inherently wants to go. 2 more. There we go. And we're just gonna switch sides. So you're gonna grab your other foot. You're gonna, or bring your other foot up, I should say. You're gonna grab that big toe, and your foot can totally rest on that, but that's a big change to your ankle trajectory. So down here is good too. And you're gonna pull much as you can, lengthening that toe. 2 more times. And then you're going to move to that second toe, and we're back to our thumb and pointer finger, just pinching and pulling. For 3, 2, and 1, switching to your middle toe. Oh yes. I feel like I get an extra snappy noise because the ends of most of my toes are kind of bulbous. I joke a lot of time that they're little gecko toes because that's what they look like. They're cute. But my fingers really snap off of them as a result. We're going to second to last toe now. And same thing here. Pull, pull. Trying to, again, if you've got a little curve, kind of pulling it in the slightly opposite direction. That's what's going to lengthen that fascia. 2 more times. Woo. Last one, pinky toe. Find that pinky toe, pinch it and pull. Some people like this a real firm pinch, and some people want it a little more low-key. So you pick and take care of your feet. 2 and 1. Our very last thing here, we're going to just set our feet down flat on the floor. And we're going to work through our toes and ankles a little bit. So toes are going to lift up off the floor as much as they can, and then push into the floor, gripping it. We're then going to lift them and push. 2 more times. Lift and push. Last one. Lift and push. The last little bit, just your right foot. Toes come up, ball of the foot comes up. Ball of the foot goes down, toes go down. 2 more times. Toes up, ball of the foot up, toes, or ball of the foot down, toes down. Last one. Toes up, ball of the foot up, ball of the foot down, toes down. Left foot gets to go now. Left toes up, ball of the foot up, ball of the foot down, toes down. 2 more times. Toes up, ball of the foot up, ball of the foot down, toes down. Okay, last one. Toes up, ball of the foot up, ball of the foot down, toes down. You're sitting here still, so our very last thing, we're gonna lift those heels up, walk our feet in a little closer, and find one more stretch. Here, I like to lean forward a little bit. That might feel a little too intense, and that's okay. So you can just stay leaning back here. You're finding your own pressure, but we're finding that stretch up the arch of the foot for 3, 2, and 1. Sit up tall, flatten those feet out, and that's it, my friends. If you want, you can pop up and give me a little walk around and feel how your feet feel. Should be pretty dang different. And really, if your feet tend to bother you, or even if you've got stuff flowing up your body, like legs or hips or anything that bother you on the regular, try releasing your feet a couple times a week. You'd be surprised how much our connection to the ground, the earth, the floor, has a lot to do with other things that might be not so nice feeling on our body. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time.